This program was brought to you by Organo Gold. Organo Gold is a health and wellness company that provides healthy coffees, teas, and chocolate. All one has to do is consume the available coffee, teas, chocolate, and other products to get all the available benefits. One can also share these products with others to help them improve their health as well.
And now, Fairfax Breakfast Club with your host, Besile Lemba.
Welcome to the Fairfax Breakfast Club show. My name is Besile Lemba and I will be your host. The Fairfax Breakfast Club is a weekly program in which we bring to you valuable and workable know-how you can use to improve your networking skills and grow your business. We always start the show with a quote, and today's quote is about Leadership Fairfax. Leadership Fairfax is a diverse community in which public and private leaders collaborate to develop and implement solutions to the community issues. Leadership Fairfax mission is to inspire, connect, develop, and engage leaders to impact issues facing Fairfax County and the region. Leadership Fairfax is easily one of the best kept secrets in the Fairfax County, but we hope for not long. To help shine the light on that organization, we have here today the President and CEO of Leadership Fairfax, Ms. Karen Cleveland. Hello, Karen.
Hello, Besile. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Well, I must confess that I've been working on this quite a while, and finally I succeeded in having a leader, CEO of Leadership Fairfax here. Now, tell us about the organization yourself.
So you gave an extra long quote, but thank you for that, and I think it was a pretty good synopsis of what we are. Most people think of Leadership Fairfax as our actual leadership development programs, but we're so much more than that.
Okay.
Our programs are fantastic. We have 3 of them, one for emerging leaders, one for more seasoned leaders, and then one for people who are on the cusp of retirement. We like to think about people who are looking for what's next for them.
But I didn't know. I mean, I knew about that. I was briefed once, but it didn't stick with me, I guess.
Well, they're all 3 very exciting programs. If you think about at which phase of life you're in, whether you're just starting out or you're more seasoned or on that cusp of retirement, it's what you're looking for and how you live your life is just in a different phase. It's exactly what it is. So all 3 programs are about leadership development, but a very specific kind. It's about community leadership development.
Okay.
The difference being is that we understand that it takes people from the private sector, the public sector, and the nonprofit sector to come together and collaborate in order to make a strong community. And that's really what we're all about. Okay. It's helping people understand how to make Fairfax County and our region the best it can possibly be. Okay. And how to engage in order to make that happen.
Gotcha. Now, can you give us talk about the 3 different programs, one after another, so the audience over here is briefed on those different programs, please?
Absolutely, my pleasure. The Emerging Leaders Program is for people that are just starting out, young men and women, usually in their 30s, who haven't really done much volunteer work and still need some skills development. Okay. They usually get it in their own business, but this is a way for them to come together with other young professionals to really hone their leadership skills, but then also to learn something about the community. Now, this is a 10-month program, and it's tuition-based. But during their 10 months, they're put in teams, and each team selects a project that they want to work on. The projects are submitted by local nonprofit organizations. And so these teams take on a project, and they actually do the work for the nonprofit. And they have put in, over the 12 years that we've had the Emerging Leaders Program, they've put in thousands of hours of pro bono service for nonprofits, doing everything from creating a volunteer program for a nonprofit, to a website, to training materials, all kinds of things that they then donate that service to the nonprofit. It's really an incredible value to the nonprofits. Then there's what we refer to as the LFI Signature Program. And it's called a signature program because that's where we began.
I got it, okay. That's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
Gotcha, okay.
So we started with people who were already leaders in their field. But what we did is we brought them together with their peers in the community, again, from the nonprofit sector, the public, and the private sector, to work together and help them understand the issues that really affect our region so that they can look at them through a new lens and figure out how they might want to connect in the community to help work on these issues and then improve the community.
Okay.
I mean, you know, Basil, we are so fortunate to live in Fairfax County,
Absolutely.
right? It's a wealthy community, it's a very diverse community, and so many choices for your business, the arts, whatever you want to do, you have choices here. But we do have challenges too, and we will continue to have challenges. So at Leadership Fairfax, we really want to be the organization that prepares the leaders, the best leaders, to, when they're done with us, to spread out in the community, find their place, and then help make it a better community. And that's what we've been seeing now for over 25 years. So we have 1,500 of our alumni, and they are holding positions all over Fairfax County. Elected officials, high-ranking government officials, captains of industry, CEOs of art organizations and nonprofit organizations, all doing really great work.
Okay.
And then the last program we have, which is relatively new, and it's much shorter. The first two are 10-month programs. And then this last one that we call the Lifetime Leaders Program.
Wow, interesting name.
So it's much smaller, usually a small group of about 10, 12 individuals. And they work together every other week for a few months. And we really try to show them where the opportunities are for them now that they're retired. You know, it's just another chapter in their life, right? So we want to help them figure out the best place to go.
Okay.
In fact, if you think about it, most of our participants in that program, worked in DC their whole life. And then they just came to Fairfax County, and it truly was a bedroom community for them. So now they have all this time, and they find that they really don't know what's out there right outside their door. So it's really fun to take them around the county and introduce them to people, and then help them to really awaken, you know, the passion for certain things. It's really fun to watch that happen. But we're so much more than just the programs, because with almost 1,600 alumni, what we want to do is engage our alumni after they've gone through the program to really help us focus on some of the new emerging issues that really are out there facing the county. And let's find solutions to them. Let's help the government find solutions.
Makes sense. One of the things that I found interesting in your program is, like in any other, you can be here, live here, but you're not aware of all that's happening, all that is available in the county.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that that's one of the, to me, I mean, as far as I can see, that's one of the major benefits, because you can live here, have a job, and you go, but there's so much more that's happening around, and you don't necessarily have the time or the organization or the structure or the vehicle, I would say, to get to discover all that the county has to offer.
That's right. And not only is it beneficial to learn all that for yourself, it's really beneficial for the organization you work for as well. In fact, this afternoon I left a luncheon, and it was an arts luncheon, and they gave an award to a gentleman who was captain of industry for many years, Earl Williams. And he was talking about how important being involved in the community was, and that he told his shareholders and his board of directors, he said, I can't tell you exactly what benefit our company is getting from my community involvement, but I can guarantee you it is being returned to our shareholders in spades. And it's true, because you become a better leader, you become more informed, more knowledgeable, and, oh, by the way, your network of really good leaders locally is so rich. I can pick up the phone as a Leadership Fairfax alum. I could call any one of those 1,600 people, and I can guarantee you they will take my call.
True.
As you know, that doesn't always happen everywhere.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, so we've created a shared value system among our alumni, and so it's really fun to watch everybody get together, and you know, it's like old home week, of course, but it's a place where our alums from the business community, our alums from nonprofit and government all feel like they belong. That's not often the case.
Yeah, no, that's I mentioned that because you have different space. You have GovCon space, government contracting space, you have the commercial space, you have profit, and they always not willingly, but they operate in different space.
That's right.
So they spend their time in their space, but they affect one another. So there is a place where now they can come to communicate and have some understanding.
That's right. You mentioned communicate. That's really what we want to do, is be the convener of conversations, meaningful conversations. As you know, I was chairman of the Reston Chamber of Commerce last year, and I love the Reston community. It's where I grew up in the business world anyway, and I was the first CEO of that chamber. So I love it because it's a chamber with a heart. But still, I will say, as much as I loved my year as chairman, we were focused primarily on business, right?
Yeah,
but we were focused on building the Reston business community as part of the community. And I think that's really where I learned about this, was in Reston, because we wanted to be the best community possible, not just the best business community.
Gotcha. While we are on this, and something that I want to take about, I would like for you to say a word on this program regarding the founder of Reston, please.
Oh, the founder of Reston, who we just lost, Bob Simon, who is such an inspirational man. If you asked him right up until the end, what one word defines his philosophy, he would tell you it's community. And he grew up in New York. His family owned Carnegie Hall, and he sold Carnegie Hall to build his dream, which was Reston, Virginia.
Wow, interesting.
And most people don't know that Reston, Virginia, the name actually comes from his initials. Robert E. Simon's town is how Reston was named. But he believed, and he so wanted to create a community where people could live from cradle to grave, and then in each neighborhood, they could live in an apartment, a condominium, a townhouse, single family, and then even a senior living situation with grocery stores and walkways and beautiful nature and everything all around. And so it was one of the first successful planned communities in the world. So we will miss him. He died at 101 years old and was incredibly vital and energetic right up to the end. And you know, if you asked him what his secret to longevity would be,
what would he say?
A martini every night.
Take note, guys.
And he was serious about that for him, but he was sharp as a tack right up to the end and very engaged in everything in the community. So we were very grateful to have him for 101 years.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for talking about him.
Sure, my pleasure.
Now, you mentioned, one of the things I just want to mention, you mentioned business and community, and I think the same thing. My take is, before you have a business, you have to have something else first. And that thing is community. So it's I know it's easily missed, but let's think about it. If you had a business and there's nobody around, who do you exchange your product with? Nobody. Who come and clean your office? Nobody. Who comes and take care of the whole area? That's why I think I invite and do everything I can to get the business people involved in the community, because if the community is not there, they will not be there. And they depend and sit literally
right
on the
top.
community.
Yeah. Oh, you are so right, and you're speaking my language, because I believe that so much. And it's very interesting in our programs, watching the light bulbs go on for people, because they think, you know, especially in our signature program, they think, oh, you know, I've attained this level of expertise in my business and I'm respected, and they may be doing one or two things in their community, working with their church perhaps, or Little League, or PTA. But once they get involved in this program and they meet people with these varied experiences and talk with our supervisors, with the arts people, the human services folks, and really understand what our community is made of, they're so humbled by the fact that there's so much need, but so much opportunity to actually engage. And every person, guarantee you, says that once they get involved in their community, they get so much more than they give. That sounds so cliche to say, but it's true.
Well, it makes sense. I think the barrier is to get to that level of awareness, is to get to see it.
Absolutely.
They are in business, they're doing well, money is rolling, what have you, which is fine, but they don't have a concept or an awareness of what else is around. When they go and get that awareness, because their business is here, as I said, the community, not only they sit on it, but it's bigger. They get to realize there is something else out there.
That's right.
And that something else is really what popped them up.
Absolutely right. Well, and even for the government people that go through our programs, you know, they think that, for instance, there was a woman who worked in the county executive's office. So she dealt with all kinds of county issues, right? Very broad. But she said when she went through the program, she was shocked at what she didn't even know about her own government, much less the community at large, right? So she's a convert to, and has gotten involved in so many other things since the time that she went through the program. But you know, it's an interesting point that you bring up about the sense of, or having something besides a business when you start. And I would say that there's probably a lot of people that would not understand that statement. Because you have people sitting in basements, you know, doing international business, or sitting in a data center, and it really doesn't, or a call center, and it really doesn't matter where it has to be. But I would argue with them that it really does matter, because the people get stale, and you don't grow as much if you don't understand that, have that connectivity. There's actually an organization in Reston called Refractions, and it's a shared work environment, you know, so there's a lot of shared workspaces where you just rent a piece of a table or a desk somewhere, but their philosophy is a little bit different. They want people to understand this whole concept of community and that engaging, and that it's good, you know, both ways. So they chose to set up their shared environment in Reston Town Center, so that as they grew, these young professionals that were just starting out would stay in Reston and would stay in the community and reinvest in it. So a big part of the programs that they do for the people renting space, like they have workshops and seminars and lectures, it's about that. So it's about why does this matter? You know, what's the so what here? And then they introduce them to people that are passionate about things other than just their specific work. And we're already seeing it happen. So many of these companies graduate out of the space, and then they take office space right around there in Reston Town Center. And why? Because everything's there plus the people, and they're like, oh, I don't want to leave access to this knowledge base, and it's almost like my own private board of directors.
Gotcha.
And we feel that way about Leadership Fairfax, that when you go through a 10-month program, you've got your own board of directors right there. Really close colleagues that you know you can trust, and they'll be there for you and help you any way that they can.
I have a question.
Sure.
Who started Leadership Fairfax?
Well, it was born out of the Fairfax County Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And there are leadership groups all around the country. So the concept wasn't brand new, but there was a group of people that just decided back in 1980, the first class was 1988.
Okay.
So they decided that it was time for Fairfax to have an organization like this. And then after a few years, the organization had grown, had its own board of directors. So they just, you know, it's kind of like when you have a teenager and you send them off to college.
Grown, now has to have their own space.
That's right. So that's exactly. But we stayed co-located for many years, sharing resources and people. It's a good partnership. We still value our relationship with them.
Okay, makes sense. That's interesting. Now, being that we're on the subject of leadership, you yourself are very much involved in leadership.
Absolutely.
Training, coaching. Can you please tell us what you do in that arena?
Well, I'm a certified leadership coach, and then I'm also a trainer with a specialty in leadership. And what that means is really helping businesses and nonprofits, and particularly senior level teams, be as effective as they possibly can.
Okay.
And it's a really nice blend between training and coaching, because whenever I work with a team, we start by doing some team coaching so that they understand what that means. And so I have to build trust with the people in the room so that I can pull the best out of each person, and then I can also help whoever is the team leader orchestrate in the best way possible to have the highest performing team. So it's really lovely work. And it's funny, I was I loved the work I did in the nonprofit world. You know, I mentioned that I was a Chamber of Commerce executive. Then I worked for a trade association. And then I was recruited to run Habitat for Humanity in Northern Virginia, which was such an incredible gift. Every day I met people who changed my life in really meaningful ways. But it was also a 7-day-a-week job.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, some weeks were pretty hectic. And I just knew I probably couldn't keep that pace forever. So I started thinking about what was next and did a lot of soul searching and hired a coach.
Okay.
And that was the first time I ever understood the process of coaching and how powerful it could be. And so it was just, I said, oh my gosh, well, this is what I need to do. I knew I wanted to go back to school and be in a learning environment. So I went to Georgetown and got my certificate and then became a certified leadership coach. And it's so much fun and so rewarding to be a part of someone's life and help them really, you know, dig in deep so that they can discover the answers to all these questions that they've been just having a conversation about in their own head. And so when you watch them come out of that and really transform, it's really powerful and very rewarding.
That's really good. Excellent.
So I get to use that in Leadership Fairfax too.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think that is, I think it's right up the alley, I think.
It is, because in order for us to help the teams that we have, you know, we work really hard the first 2 days to help them develop that trusting environment. So part of that is they have to be able to trust me and the other faculty members. So yeah, we do a lot of coaching there.
Okay. Well, very good.
So maybe one day I'll turn the tables on you, Besile, and do a little coaching for you. Not to worry. First thing we learn in the coaching world is you never coach without permission, so I will always ask you for permission to do that.
Allow me to give you the permission.
Because you never know what's buried down deep that you just really are waiting for it to come out.
Now I'm really scared.
It's not scary, but it can be work for some people.
No, I totally understand. You know, I'm totally in agreement. Think about the Tiger Woods of the world. Think about the Michael Jordan of the world. We never make that connection, but all these superstars and celebrity have a coach.
That's right.
One of the most remarkable entrepreneurs in this country, his name is, he used to run Chrysler, Lee Iacocca.
Lee Iacocca.
We know about Lee and everything as we hear about him, but in his biography, he praised his mentor, which none of us know. Never heard of him.
Yep.
He talks about him, how he molded him, how he shaped him into what it is today. But it's one of those beautiful things. We see a big figure, but we never see the person behind. And most of the people do not necessarily understand coaching. They think it's because they think it's maybe not needed or not important or what have you. But the point is, to get there, you have to have a coach.
And I would say especially at the high level.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of times you're surrounded with people who are just yes people, right? Because that's, so who are you having those tough conversations with? Who's challenging you? And that's a big part of a coach's job. We really read everything and hold up a mirror for you. But our job is to challenge you a lot. But it's interesting that you brought up sports, because you know, I hired a coach, a leadership coach. Then I went and became certified as a leadership coach. But it really took me full circle because my father was a college football coach.
Oh, really? Interesting.
And more than just a coach, he was the one who all the players came to, and he always helped them. And so for years, even after he retired, when we would go back to our college, you know, where we all went to school, it was so wonderful to walk around the campus and everybody say, Coach Kelly, and then introducing him to their kids and saying, you know, this man changed my life and I couldn't have gotten through school without him. So I think, you know, I hadn't thought about it at the time, but it probably was something that was just so ingrained in me that it was just nice that it now is a profession and an opportunity for me to really apply a lot of skills that I probably had from my dad.
Well, that's good. So in a way, you were in a lab.
That's right, in a lab, exactly.
But you didn't know you were in a lab.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's so interesting. I hadn't really thought about it quite that way. But you're right. I had that exposure and access to real live coaches that could help me.
You mentioned challenging the person. I remember this story. We're probably going to close in on this. Oh, by the way, let me ask you this. What would you consider, before we close, your biggest success in life?
Oh my gosh. You should have given me that question to think about, because I'd have to put that in
Well, I like to put people on spot.
Well, I would say the biggest success in my life is that I have two absolutely amazing children.
Okay.
And I'm so proud of both of them. And, that's a scary thing to do. So that's by far my biggest success. Okay. But like you, I'm very fortunate that I have been able to have successes to build on one another, because this community is so vibrant and has given me those opportunities, and I feel incredibly blessed to live my life.
Very good. All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The story I wanted to tell was, the U.S. had trouble winning the hockey games, the championship or Olympics game, I don't know. And at one point, they was playing the final, playing for the gold medal against Russia. And Russia was leading the U.S. team, maybe 3-1 or something. And then they went into break. And the coach came to the team. Of course, they were all like, we can't beat them, they are so big, everybody knows that. And then he said, this game today, you're going to take it into your graveyard. He walked out.
So they had to stand up.
That's all he said. Generally, they have a conversation. No. He walked in and said, this game, you are going to take it into your graveyard. He walked out. There was all luck. Guess what? They won that game.
Amazing. It's very powerful.
Yes.
We don't always know what we have inside of us and our own greatness and how to step into that. So as a coach or a mentor, what power you have to help someone do that. I think that's amazing.
Definitely.
What a great story.
Well, thank you very much. So that's what we have for you today. And I want to remind you that we have the breakfast event hosted at Fairfax and the Expo. Check our website over here, blnbc.com, and also more information on our upcoming expo, which will be ultbizexpo.com. Thank you very much. Good night.
This program was brought to you by Organo Gold. Organo Gold is a health and wellness company that provides healthy coffees, teas, and chocolate. All one has to do is consume the available coffee, teas, chocolate, and other products to get all the available benefits. One can also share these products with others to help them improve their health as well.